In the heart of the galaxy, the Galactic Council sat in their grand chamber. It was a large room filled with representatives from various alien species, each more powerful than the last. The walls sparkled with alien technology, and a massive screen displayed the galaxy map, showing their many conquests. Laughter echoed as they celebrated their victories, boasting about how easily they had defeated other civilizations. Among them, the leader, a tall figure with shimmering skin and piercing eyes, slammed a fist on the table. "Another weak species falls before us," he proclaimed, his voice booming. The council members cheered, raising their glasses filled with strange, glowing liquids. They felt invincible, confident that no one could stand against them. As the celebration continued, one council member, a small, furry creature with large ears, spoke up nervously. "But what about Earth? The humans have been gathering resources and technology. Should we be worried?" The room fell silent for a moment. The tall leader scoffed, shaking his head. "Humans? They are nothing but a primitive race. They are too busy fighting among themselves to pose a threat to us." He waved his hand dismissively, and the others laughed. A hologram flickered to life in the center of the table, displaying images of human cities and technology. The council members leaned in, squinting at the images. "Look at them," said a sleek, blue-skinned alien. "They have nothing compared to our fleets. We can crush them easily." "Indeed," shouted another member, a hulking figure with sharp teeth. "Let's send our ships and teach them a lesson. They will learn to respect the Galactic Council." While the Council reveled in their overconfidence, on Earth, things were very different. Inside a high-tech command center, human pilots trained diligently. They understood the danger the Galactic Council posed. Commander Sarah Bennett, a seasoned pilot with fiery red hair, addressed her team. "Listen up! We are facing a serious threat. The Galactic Council thinks they can just come in and take over. But we will not let that happen." Her voice rang with determination. The pilots nodded, adrenaline pumping through their veins. They knew their mission was not just to protect Earth, but to show the galaxy that humans were not to be underestimated. They worked long hours, honing their skills and preparing their ships, the USS Vigilant and others like it. They installed new weapons and upgrades, driven by the knowledge that their home depended on them. As the days passed, the Galactic Council continued their mocking chatter. They made plans to deploy their massive fleet towards Earth. Their arrogance blinded them to the truth. The humans were resourceful and clever. They watched from afar, gathering information and forming a strategy. Back in the command center, Sarah and her team studied the Council's warships through satellite feeds. "They are overconfident," she said. "That's their weakness. If we can catch them off guard, we have a chance." Her team strategized late into the night. They devised plans to outsmart the Council, creating decoys and traps to mislead their ships. "We need to use our home ground to our advantage," one pilot suggested. "They won't know what hit them." Meanwhile, the Council was busy planning their attack. They discussed the best way to crush the humans and what trophy ships they would take home. They believed this would be a simple victory, adding another notch to their belts. But little did they know, the humans were ready. The pilots of the USS Vigilant were determined to protect their planet, fueled by the desire to prove their worth in the galaxy. As the Galactic Council prepared to strike, the tension in the air grew thick with anticipation. The Council's laughter echoed throughout the chamber, but a shadow of doubt began to creep in. The humans might not be as weak as they thought, but for now, the Galactic Council basked in their overconfidence, unaware that their arrogance would soon lead to their downfall. As the day of the battle approached, both sides braced themselves for what was to come. The Galactic Council, convinced of their superiority, prepared to make their move against the humans, who were quietly readying themselves to fight back with everything they had. The clash of these two forces would change the course of history forever. The day of reckoning had finally arrived. The Galactic Council's massive fleet glided through space towards Earth, their ships glinting with advanced technology. The Council members were filled with confidence, believing that today would mark yet another easy victory. In their flagship, the Supreme Command, the leader gazed at the view screen, watching as the blue planet came into view. "Prepare to engage the humans," he ordered, a wicked grin spreading across his face. The crew rushed to follow his command, eager to witness the destruction they were about to unleash. Meanwhile, on Earth, the atmosphere was tense. The pilots of the USS Vigilant stood ready in their cockpits, hearts pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. Commander Sarah Bennett gathered her team for one last briefing. Today is our chance to show them who we are. We may be outnumbered, but we have the home advantage and our wits. Stick to the plan and we'll make them regret underestimating us. As the human pilots took their positions, the Council fleet neared. Each ship was a colossal structure, bristling with weapons and power. The humans, on the other hand, relied on agility and clever tactics. Their ships were smaller and faster, designed to navigate the tight spaces of Earth's atmosphere. "Enemy ships detected!" shouted one of the human technicians. The tension in the command center grew thick. The moment had come. The humans launched their ships into the sky, the roar of engines filling the air as they ascended into the unknown. The Galactic fleet opened fire first, their lasers cutting through space toward the incoming human ships. But the humans were prepared. "Evasive maneuvers!" Sarah shouted, guiding her crew to dodge the incoming blasts. The USS Vigilant swerved left and right, narrowly avoiding the deadly beams. "Return fire!" ordered Sarah, her voice steady despite the chaos. The human ships unleashed their own weaponry, bright beams of energy shooting towards the larger Council vessels. For a moment, it seemed as though the odds might even out. As the battle raged on, one of the Council ships took a hit, causing a ripple of surprise among the alien crew. "They're actually fighting back!" a commander exclaimed, disbelief etched across his face. The Council's overconfidence began to wane as they witnessed the unexpected resilience of the humans. On board the USS Vigilant, Sarah and her team focused on their strategy. "Remember our plan! Divide and conquer!" she reminded them. The human pilots split into smaller groups, darting around the larger Council ships. They used the Earth's gravity to their advantage, executing sharp turns and sudden dives. "Look out!" yelled one of the pilots as a Council ship loomed ahead. In a split-second decision, he activated a decoy, a small device that emitted signals mimicking human ships. The Council ship fired at the decoy, wasting precious energy. The human pilot grinned, exhilarated by the clever move. "Nice work," Sarah praised over the comms. They were gaining momentum, exploiting every mistake the Council made. The humans' agile tactics were starting to turn the tide of battle. Despite their advanced technology, the Council was struggling to adapt to the unpredictability of human tactics. Panic began to set in among their ranks. "We must regroup! They're using guerrilla tactics!" one of the commanders yelled, frustration seeping into his voice. As chaos reigned, the USS Vigilant scored a direct hit on a smaller Council ship, causing it to spiral out of control and crash into another vessel. The explosion lit up the dark void of space, a bright flash of victory for the humans. "We did it! We're actually winning," one pilot cheered, pumping his fist in the air. But Sarah remained focused. "This is just the beginning. Keep your guard up!" In a desperate move, the Galactic Council ordered a full assault, launching all remaining ships at the humans. The battle became fierce, energy blasts flying in every direction. The humans fought with every ounce of strength, knowing that their survival depended on this clash. As the smoke cleared, it was evident that the Council had underestimated the humans. The battle had shifted in favor of the Earth's defenders, who fought bravely against their overwhelming foes. But the Council would not give up easily. They were furious, determined to crush the human resistance once and for all. This first clash was only a taste of what was to come, setting the stage for a war that would change the galaxy forever. As both sides prepared for the next round, one thing was clear. The humans were not going down without a fight. The aftermath of the first clash left the Galactic Council in shock. Their grand fleet had not only suffered damage, but had also been embarrassed by a race they deemed insignificant. Inside the Supreme Command, the mood was dark. Council members gathered around a massive round table, their expressions serious. The leader, still reeling from the unexpected loss, slammed his fist on the table. "How could we let this happen? We are the Galactic Council. We are powerful!" His voice echoed in the chamber, filled with anger and disbelief. A quiet council member spoke up, his voice trembling. "We underestimated the humans. They are more clever and resourceful than we thought. We cannot make that mistake again." The leader glared at him. "What do you suggest? We retreat and let them think they have won?" "No! We must show them the true power of the Council." Another member, a tall alien with long limbs, nodded vigorously. "I agree. We need to send the Imperator, our most powerful warship. With its firepower, we can annihilate their defenses and teach them a lesson they will never forget." The room buzzed with excitement and fear as they discussed their strategy. The council members, still high on their previous victories, began to believe that with the Imperator at their side, they could crush the humans in one swift move. Meanwhile, on Earth, Commander Sarah Bennett and her team were not resting. They gathered in the command center, reviewing the battle data and analyzing the council's tactics. The atmosphere was tense, but a sense of determination filled the room. "We need to be ready for their next move," Sarah said, her eyes scanning the screens displaying footage of the Galactic Council's fleet. "They will come back stronger, and we must prepare to fight." A technician raised his hand. "What if they send the Imperator? It's the most advanced warship in their fleet. We need to find a way to counter it." Sarah nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. "We must create a plan that combines all our strengths. Let's use our speed and agility. We can lure them into a trap." The team brainstormed ideas late into the night. They discussed various tactics to distract and confuse the council, allowing them to strike when the aliens least expected it. "If we can draw them near the asteroid belt, we can use the rocks as cover," one pilot suggested, excitedly pointing at a holographic map of the solar system. "That's brilliant," Sarah exclaimed. "We can hide our ships among the asteroids and pick them off one by one. The Imperator will be too large to maneuver quickly." As plans took shape, Sarah and her team also focused on upgrading their ships. They worked tirelessly, installing new weapons and shields, ensuring that the USS Vigilant would be ready for whatever the Council threw at them. They tested every system, pushing their technology to the limit. Days turned into nights as they prepared. The command center buzzed with activity, every human pilot eager to prove their worth. They felt the weight of responsibility on their shoulders, knowing that the fate of Earth rested on their success. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, the atmosphere was filled with confidence once more. The leader of the council stood before the group, his voice strong. "We will launch our attack with the Imperator. We will show the humans that they are nothing compared to us. They will tremble at our might." Cheers erupted from the council members, their spirits lifted by the leader's fiery words. They believed they were invincible once again. As plans were finalized, the council sent out a fleet of scouts to gather information about human movements. On Earth, Sarah received reports of increased council activity. "They're planning something big," she told her team. "We must stay alert and be ready to move at a moment's notice." The tension grew as the humans prepared for the worst. They knew the Imperator was coming, and they had to act quickly. "Let's finalize our strategy," Sarah urged. "We need to ensure we are one step ahead." As both sides prepared for the coming battle, the stage was set for a confrontation that would decide the fate of Earth. The Galactic Council, filled with pride and a thirst for revenge, believed they would easily wipe out the humans. But the humans, armed with hope and determination, were ready to fight back. In the depths of space, the two forces braced for an epic showdown. As the Galactic Council plotted their annihilation, the humans stood united, ready to defend their home against the overwhelming might of their foes. The battle to come would change everything. The day of the epic space battle dawned with a silent tension hanging in the air. Both the Galactic Council and the humans knew that this fight would determine the fate of Earth. The Imperator, the Council's mightiest warship, floated majestically in space, its powerful cannons glowing with energy. Its presence alone sent shivers down the spines of those who dared to oppose it. On Earth, Commander Sarah Bennett stood on the bridge of the USS Vigilant, surrounded by her crew. They had prepared for this moment, and now, with their hearts racing, they were ready to face their enemy. "All systems are go!" shouted one of the technicians, excitement and fear mixing in his voice. "Let's remind them what humanity is capable of," Sarah declared, her voice steady and firm. "Today we fight not just for ourselves, but for every person on this planet." As the human ships took off from the hangar, they soared into the blackness of space, their engines roaring. Sarah watched as her team maneuvered their ships into formation. They were smaller and faster, and they intended to use that advantage against the giant Imperator. The Galactic Council fleet moved into position, ready to attack. The moment arrived. "Prepare to engage!" the leader of the Council shouted. With a flick of his wrist, the Imperator fired its first volley of energy blasts toward the humans. The beams shot through space like lightning, illuminating the dark void. But the humans were prepared. "Evasive maneuvers!" Sarah yelled, guiding her crew with quick commands. The USS Vigilant swerved, dodging the incoming blasts while her crew returned fire. Energy beams shot back towards the Imperator, hitting its shields but barely scratching the massive ship. The battle quickly escalated. Council ships moved in tight formation, firing at the human fleet. The Imperator unleashed a barrage of powerful shots, and several human ships were caught in the blast, exploding in bright flashes of light. "We have to take out their shields," Sarah shouted, determination burning in her eyes. One of the pilots suggested, "Let's focus our fire on that smaller cruiser. If we can disable it, we can create an opening." The crew nodded, following her lead. They concentrated their fire on a nearby council ship, their beams slicing through the void and hitting the alien vessel directly. The cruiser rocked from the impact, its shields flickering. "Yes! Keep it up!" Sarah encouraged her team. The humans pressed on, feeling their confidence grow with each successful strike. The tide was turning, but they still faced overwhelming odds. Meanwhile, on the Imperator, the council leader watched in disbelief as his fleet struggled. "They're more resilient than we thought," he exclaimed, frustration boiling within him. "Focus all fire on the human flagship. We cannot let them escape." As the Imperator turned its massive cannons towards the USS Vigilant, Sarah saw the danger. "Brace for impact! Full power to our shields!" she ordered. The crew scrambled, their hearts racing as they prepared for the worst. The Imperator fired again, a massive energy beam soaring through space. The human ships scattered, but the blast struck the USS Vigilant directly, shaking it violently. "Damage report!" Sarah yelled, gripping the console. "Shields at 70%, one technician reported, his voice tense. "We can hold, but we need to regroup. Form a tight circle around the Vigilant," Sarah commanded. Her team quickly moved to protect their flagship, surrounding it with their smaller ships. The Council's attacks were relentless, but the humans fought back fiercely. "Now let's show them our true power," Sarah shouted. The human fleet coordinated their attack, firing as one against the Imperator. Energy beams flooded the space around the massive ship, striking its defenses. The Imperator shook, its shields wavering under the assault. "We're breaking through!" a pilot shouted, adrenaline surging through him. With renewed vigor, the humans pressed on, striking at the heart of the Council fleet. Explosions lit up the darkness, the sounds of battle echoing through space. The tide of the battle had shifted, and for the first time the Galactic Council began to falter. The leader of the Council watched in horror as his ships fell one by one. "Retreat! We must regroup!" he shouted. But it was too late. The humans had seized the moment, fighting with an unmatched spirit. As the battle raged on, the humans realized that they could win. They had turned the tide against an enemy they were supposed to fear. As the stars twinkled above, a new chapter began in the war between humans and the Galactic Council, one filled with hope and the promise of victory. The epic space battle was just the beginning, and the humans were determined to show the galaxy that they were a force to be reckoned with. With their spirits high and their resolve stronger than ever, they prepared for whatever came next, knowing they had the heart to fight against any odds. The final moments of the battle felt surreal as the chaos began to settle. The stars shone brightly overhead, and the darkness of space was now filled with the remnants of war. Debris from fallen ships floated aimlessly, silent witnesses to the fierce conflict. The Galactic Council was reeling from the unexpected human resistance, and their once mighty Imperator was now a shadow of its former self, its hull scarred and damaged. On board the USS Vigilant, Commander Sarah Bennett stood at the helm, her heart racing with adrenaline and hope. "Status report," she commanded, her voice cutting through the tension in the command center. "Shields are holding at 30%. We've lost 2 ships, but the Council fleet is in disarray," a technician replied, his fingers flying over the controls as he analyzed the situation. Sarah's eyes darted to the main screen, where the holographic image of the battlefield displayed the chaos. Several Council ships were retreating, their engines flickering as they scrambled to escape. "Now is our chance!" she exclaimed, her determination shining through. "We cannot let them regroup. We finish this now!" With a unified roar, the crew sprang into action. They had fought hard and earned this moment. They would not let it slip away. The remaining human ships, fueled by a newfound sense of purpose, rallied around the Vigilant. They maneuvered into position, preparing for a final assault on the Imperator and the scattered Council vessels. "Lock weapons on the Imperator," Fire on my mark, Sarah commanded, her heart pounding. The crew quickly followed her orders, adrenaline pumping through their veins. Ready, they shouted in unison, their voices filled with determination. Mark, Sarah cried, and a wave of energy blasts surged toward the Imperator. The beams struck the alien ship with unrelenting force, penetrating its weakened shields. Explosions erupted along the Imperator's hull, and its crew scrambled to regain control. Direct hit! One pilot cheered, but Sarah kept her focus sharp. Don't celebrate yet. Stay alert. On the bridge of the Imperator, the council leader fumed with anger and disbelief. Retreat! We cannot let them take us down. Get us out of here, he shouted, panic evident in his voice. But the humans were relentless. They pursued the fleeing council ships, their spirits high, feeling the thrill of victory just within their grasp. Each enemy ship that fell was another step toward liberation. In a desperate attempt to save their pride, the council leader ordered a final stand. All remaining ships form a defensive line. We will not go down without a fight! His voice was fierce, but the fear in his eyes told another story. As the council ships formed a line, the humans closed in. Fire at will, Sarah ordered. The crew unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, and the sound of explosions echoed through space. Council ships crumbled under the onslaught, their defenses crumbling against the might of human determination. Amidst the chaos, a crew member pointed at the main screen. Commander, the Imperator is attempting to escape. Let it go, Sarah replied, her voice calm but resolute. We've already won this battle. We must focus on ensuring that the rest of their fleet does not escape. With their spirits soaring, the humans pressed on, their hearts united by the thrill of victory. The council fleet continued to break apart, their once mighty armada reduced to chaos. Finally, after a relentless pursuit, the remaining council ships turned to flee, retreating into the depths of space. Cheers erupted in the command center of the USS Vigilant. The crew hugged each other, some with tears of joy in their eyes. We did it! We really did it! One technician shouted, unable to contain his excitement. Sarah smiled, feeling the weight of victory lift from her shoulders. This is only the beginning. We've shown them that humanity will not be underestimated, she said, her voice steady and proud. As the dust settled, the humans took a moment to reflect on what they had achieved. They had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious. The Galactic Council, once a symbol of power and dominance, had been forced to retreat, their arrogance shattered. As the USS Vigilant floated in the aftermath of the battle, Sarah gazed out into the stars. The universe was vast, but humanity had proven that they could hold their own against even the most formidable foes. With hope in their hearts, they looked toward the future, ready to protect their home and ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Humanity had risen, and their victory marked the dawn of a new era in the galaxy.